So, hey guys,
they are so mad at you. I don't know what you're saying. You're in for a world of shit over there.
I do.
Just having a little fun with the boy.
So has Tom been keeping track of the amount of times he's gotten abducted at this point?
I'm keeping track. I'm keeping close track. We have a new writing staff this year, and I'm waiting until Tom gets abducted. No. We've been there. We've done it. Yeah, I've been captured several times now by humans and by, if you're counting, getting abducted by Pope's gang.
Oh yeah.
First season.
Yeah.
And then I got abducted, obviously, by the aliens. I'm on the ship for a while. And then I got abducted by the crazy Pickett family last week. And then I seemingly, at the end of that episode, I'm going to get abducted again.
Yeah.
We certainly are.
So, no, we're not going back to that well too often.
Well,
Oh yeah.
Will, I mean, you guys, your characters are best friends now, and there's that mutual respect that's at play. And yet, Weaver sees Mason just making a lot of bad decisions, and you're kind of quietly supporting him and being his sort of consigliere, whispering in his ear. But are we going to see more of a throwdown, more of a clash of these two titans that we saw early on?
Well, I think if you remember at the end of the first season, and I can't remember exactly who said it or how it was said, but I think basically I'd said, whatever happens, I don't know what's going to happen, but whatever it is, I'd like us to be in it together as a team, and that's kind of what this switching around has enabled to happen, there wasn't like, if I'm a colonel, I've got to report to the President of the United States. There's no two ways about it. It's a military thing. Now we're both out.
Yeah.
There is no hierarchy. We've reached the point of being a team, I think. It sort of took that to bring us to the team place.
Yeah. Do you think there's any resentment with your character as far as Tom leaves, and I know he's got to go.
You mean with the boys?
Yeah, and kind of left you, even though it had good motivations, left you.
The only reason that really bothered me is that I like to ride horses, and I didn't like not being in on that part of the episode. But you got to remember, one of the things I say at that point is I've got to watch out for Jeannie, because she has become something that has enabled me to feel something in my heart again. So we've got that going on too.
Yeah.
So he's going with his
it's going to be without conflict in the future. I mean, it's interesting to see these two guys square off on opposite sides of an ethical dilemma. But there's no discounting the history that they now share. It's not like they're going to forget where they've been and the road they've traveled. They'll inform the fight rather than negate it.
Would you follow Tom Mason as a leader?
Yeah, he would.
I'm not much of a follower. I think I would have done what the Picketts did last week. I think I would have found a farmhouse up in the mountains and taken my family and stayed away from big cities and crowds. But yes, theoretically, I would follow Tom.
So Weaver seems to be buddying up with Pope a lot more this season. Do you find that it's a mutual respect, or that it's a lesser of two evils?
Well, we've gotten ourselves into a situation where he's the most, he's the person who's been around with me the longest. And it's hard to trust anybody at the end. I don't know how far you've gotten along, but it's hard to trust anything that's going on in Charleston right now. And Pope is someone that I can enlist, as we found out over the years, to help with certain matters, even though I wouldn't trust him as far as I can throw him. That's what makes it so difficult, is that he's the guy I've got to depend on.
And his character's changed quite a bit too. Now that he's got hometown, now that he's got a little fiefdom of his own, he's not such a renegade. He's got something to lose. He could have left at any time. There's a great scene I thought we had in episode 5 when we're in the woods together, where basically I say, you keep threatening to leave, but you never leave. You're obviously either a coward or there's something about us that you like or need. And so I think that redefine the character to a certain extent. It makes him more trustworthy because you now understand that he's not that loose of a cannon. He may talk a good game, but at heart, he's going to be a good soldier.
Yeah, I guess so. we got a lot of tension. There's a lot of things.
Probably going to be a spin-off for their two characters.
We were just talking about Pope having a bar as a spinoff. Like, yeah, it's,
sort of apocalyptic cheer.
yeah, that's what I said. Yes.
Right. Really? You said
We'll talk. That's what I said. So Strange Brew falls into this classic pattern of sci-fi of breaking the mold, breaking the pattern, within the show. Just how did that come about? What kind of conversations were happening behind the scenes going into Strange Brew?
Well, obviously, since we started, there's been a lot of are you guys going to do a flashback episode? Are you going to do a flashback episode? We're going to see what the world was like before. And we really didn't want to do it because we felt that was such an easy go-to. And it had been such a smart decision to start the pilot 6 months into the invasion that we didn't really want to look backwards. So this idea came up of, well, what if it was more of a hallucination? What if it was something that wasn't playing out in real time, but allowed us a way of peeking into that world to a certain extent to see what their lives were like before? And that was really where the idea started. And then it just kept building. And I give all the credit to John Wirth, who wrote that episode, who unfortunately has moved on to be the showrunner on Hell on Wheels. He won't be with us for season 4. But it was just a really smartly executed storyline. I love the double twist that it had in its body. I love getting to meet Rebecca for the first time. And putting a face to this presence that's been. Have they seen it?
I have.
Some have, some haven't. It's this Sunday show. I'm really proud of it.
That's great.
Yeah, that's where it came from. It was really John Wirth and Remy Obashan's idea.
So I feel like in season 1, it was very clear there's black and white, good versus evil, and as the show has progressed, you guys have gotten there's a lot more gray area that you're living in, with the family members, being controlled by aliens and turning and
even good elements within the alien community.
Right, absolutely. Where you've got factions of aliens that are now rebelling. You're making alliances with Pope in ways that you probably didn't expect. Where do you see that carrying into season 4, and what do you feel it says about the humanity in these characters?
It's a very good question. It's more true to life, isn't it? I mean, doesn't it make it more real? I mean, things are not black and white. The more you can show that, the more you're based in reality.
I feel like this show works really well when it sort of expands and then contracts. Almost like a heartbeat. The storytelling kind of goes out there a little bit, almost too far into the sci-fi realm for what we want it to be, and then it contracts and we get very small again and we focus on the family or the key core characters. As long as we can maintain that balance of opening it up a little wider each time, showing a little bit more of the mythology of the aliens world, and then bringing it back to what really is the pulse of the show, which is family, second mass, these core relationships. We're doing really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm one of the people that really loves the show now. Like where it has gone for this season, darker, a lot more complex and everything. I dig it. Do you fear or have you heard any pushback from maybe families or other people that are saying, oh, it used to be such a nice alien show and now it's gotten too dark?
The pushback really comes from the network. Michael Wright is a really smart programmer who knows TNT's audience and really doesn't like ironic heroes, doesn't like tongue-in-cheek kind of storytelling. He wants real hope, real faith, real humanity to play itself out. And so when it goes dark, he likes to have it mitigated by some element of hope. And I think we've been really smart about doing that in some very subtle ways. That even though these characters are living in a very high state of deprivation and they've lost a lot, they have gotten back a lot of things that are intrinsically human and maybe lost in our modern day society. Relationships become really, really profound. Ceremony, ritual, a birth of a child, that's seen by the Liberty Tree, remembering people who are no longer with us. It all feels like, I don't know, that it's got a lot more heart. As we've gotten darker, we've also tried to highlight it in certain areas where ways to.
I sure do get a lot of comments about the creepy baby.
That we do. That there is.